Isn't the title freaking awesome? I dressed up as Santa and then ran a 5K. Dude, I have not run a race since I was running state for cross country in high school, bro. I used to hate running. I would get so anxious every single time before a race. I just felt like absolute crap. And then you just go run and you basically just die. Cross country racing is everybody lining up on a line and saying, let's go see how much pain we can put ourselves through. So I really did not like cross-country running. Loved the community. It was a great way to stay in shape, but I actually despised racing. And I can say, after today's race, this is probably the first race I've actually enjoyed running. And I wasn't even planning on racing it. First of all, I should probably talk about like why I'm dressed up as Santa running a 5K. Everybody was actually dressed up as Santa running the 5K. I'll have you know. It was like 2,000 people dressed up as Santa running in downtown. It was freaking awesome. How have I never heard about this before? I had a friend text me saying, yo, there's a Santa race in 3 days. You want to run it with me? I said, obviously, yes. I need to go run this race with you. So I signed up. I did a little pre-race check-in the day before the race. Picked up my Santa outfit. It's not anything crazy. It was something, I don't even know what the kind of cloth is, but it's kind of like a one-use cloth thing. I was talking to somebody who had run this race a couple of times, and he said, I'm not even wearing the bottom half of mine because it just falls apart halfway through the race. And I did lose my belt halfway through the race, but it's okay. The event just made me feel like I was part of the culture. It was great. It was a place not too far from where I grew up, and I just never done something like that before, and I'm an adult now. I can just go dress up as Santa and run a 5K if I want to. Gosh, dang it. So everybody was doing it, and they've done this for a couple of years in a row. Everybody's dressed as the same. I don't know if everybody else was feeling it, but I just felt like an awe in the sense of humanity and culture, and I was like, this is my culture. So right before the race starts, I actually saw one of my friends that I had dinner with the day before. We both did not talk about this, and we both just happened to be at this race. So I was like, oh my gosh, bro, what's up? Long time no see. How you doing? You're doing the Santa race too? This is freaking awesome. But right before, I was talking with some people, and they were asking, how are you gonna run this? Are you gonna actually race it, or are you just gonna run? And I responded, you know, I'm not a crazy runner. I really didn't like racing in high school. I'll just sort of treat this like a run. I'll just run. It'll be chill. Not gonna race it. Halfway through the race, bro, I was fully set on racing this thing. I was about to push myself. Because I started thinking to myself, well, what else am I supposed to do? Just run here? I sort of peeled away from my starting group, the people that I was running with. I lost one of them halfway through, not halfway through, a little bit before halfway. I just turned around, and my buddy was just gone. I was like, oh my gosh, where'd you go? And suddenly, I'm all alone. And once I got to being all alone running, I thought, you know what? Might as well. It was pretty exhilarating catching people and passing them. I'm not gonna lie. If I was actually racing this event, I really should have started a lot closer to the front of the line. Because the horn goes off, right? They start the race. It's a 5K, which is 3.1 miles if you're freedom units. But the horn goes off, and a mob of 2,000 people have to shuttle their way through this tiny little archway. So I'm just sitting there for 2 minutes, like, waiting before I can go on the race. And I thought it would be fine, honestly. I wasn't really planning to pay attention to how fast I run or the place that I got. But halfway through the race, I was like, I'm running this as a race. I might as well see how fast I can do a 5K. But waiting there for 2 minutes, trying to start the race, I thought it would be fine, because most of the time in events, or at least when I was in cross country, your time starts when you go across the start line and not when they just start the time. But I checked on the website, and everybody had the exact same start. So I literally lost, I don't know, 2 minutes. Maybe I'm thinking of time different. Maybe it was less. Maybe it was more. But I just lose multiple minutes to this thing. And so I remember finishing the race, and I was like, oh my gosh, I freaking killed it out there. I pushed myself hard. How fast did I go? It's like 26 minutes. I'm like, frick, bro. I'm so slow. Which is also probably just a me issue. I think doing cross country in high school really warped my perception of running fast. You know, in cross country, we would do an 8:30 mile, and I would think to myself, freaking gosh dang it, why am I running so slow? That's like a warm-up pace. I should be running faster. When 8:30, you know, that takes some effort. Not a lot of people can run an 8:30 mile. But I remember feeling a little crestfallen when I finally looked at how fast I had run, and it said 26 minutes. I was like, there's no way I did that in 26 minutes. Just from, like, I've run a decent amount, and I don't track it these days, but I've tracked my running a lot, and so I sort of know what paces feel like. Earlier this year, I ran a 6-minute mile, so like I can definitely run 3 8-minute or at least 8:30 miles in a row. And then the thing said I ran an 50 mile 3 times in a row. I'm just like, I don't believe it. And maybe I'm just a doubter. Maybe I'm actually just way slower than I think I am. But I checked the little website and just see that everybody's start time is the same. And I'm like, frick, okay. If I was actually going for a good time, I screwed myself. But big caveat. The entire race I was passing people. That felt kind of cool. I literally passed probably 1,000 people on this race. The entire race, I was dodging and weaving, going back and forth. This is probably part of the reason that I lost my buddy that I was running with, because there was just an absurd amount of people. I was passing people on strollers, I was passing people walking, and up until literally the very end, there was maybe one guy who I thought was maybe gonna try and pass me at the very end, but I was like, I ain't letting this happen. So I ran that, and it was just kind of exhilarating, you know? I was in a race. I haven't raced in so long, and it didn't feel like I was gonna die before the race, which is how it normally feels. Hence why I did not really like racing. I was also just never super into it. I was kind of put on varsity, and I was always the slowest person in varsity, and I never really paid attention to like how fast I run or really cared about improving my stats or whatnot. I kind of just did it because it's a good way to stay healthy. I was doing soccer at the same time, and I really loved the community of it. So I don't regret doing cross country, but I just really did not like racing. So it was a nice change of pace, actually enjoying a run, and I definitely pushed myself hard. I could have pushed myself a little bit harder, but not by much. I was kind of cooking out there. Maybe I could have paced myself slightly better, but honestly, I think I kept up a pretty similar pace for the entire run. And towards the end, oh man, I was breathing hard. I finished the race. My legs still hurt, so I think it was definitely a good effort. Maybe should have worn less layers. I wore a long sleeve shirt and jogger pants, plus the Santa outfit on top of it. So I finished the race. I was just sweating, bro, for a solid 30 minutes after that race. But it was really nice. I caught up with the friends that I started the race with. Almost lost my one friend because his phone died, but thankfully we met up. He came over and we just hung out, and he left, and now I'm making a commentary video on it. So it's been a good day today. The Christmas season is getting into full swing. It's now November 29th. As this video comes out, it's going to be the 30th, so the last day of November. Oh my gosh, I just trolled my hunger reset so much. I'm watching back at this run. That's a little bit sad. This was an RSG run that I did that is maybe a top 6 runs that I've ever done. It's a 10:19, I believe, and I just had a blind that hit, which is really nice, and then I think I hit a 0, so it's a pretty cool run. I've been playing a little bit of RSG, a lot of ranked. I was a little bit scared to play some ranked after I hit Netherite, though, because I didn't really want to drop my rank, not gonna lie. But I've had, I think I counted it earlier, 14 games as a Netherite rank. I've dipped out twice. I'm currently 1980, so I'm like 1 game away from Netherite. But I've been, you know, I didn't just peak once and then go back down to absolute 0. I got to 2050. So that's my peak elo now. Probably gonna keep grinding on that. Maybe it won't be the highest priority, but I'll try to get in maybe a good 10 games a day. That's a pretty good number, or at least on the days that I'm not busy and I can stream that. That'll be cool. By the way, there's been a lot more people in the streams, which also I'm not used to. If you don't know the backstory, I started this streaming channel as a no mic speedrunning channel because I was hanging out in call with friends and they were like, "Yo, you should start a speedrunning stream channel because you're speedrunning a lot anyways," and we would kind of watch. So this was 2 years ago, or something to that extent. And I've just been speedrunning ever since. You know, the channel, it's not even affiliate. There's like no ads on it. It doesn't even have a profile picture. And then I just had 200 people watching me earlier. What? You might be saying, bro, you get like 100,000 views on these videos. Yeah, but live on something that I've never promoted, like 200 people, that was kind of crazy. I think it's also due to the fact that speedrunning is just becoming more popular, so that's also cool. I think this next playoffs is going to be freaking awesome. You got the Curryway and Tebo thing that's happening right now. Ludwig is speedrunning. The player count for ranked has never been higher, so it's really awesome. I feel like I'm in the heart of the community, and watching this thing grow, this thing that I really care about, has been freaking awesome, to say the least. Oh, the blind hit! The blind hit! Wow, I'm not used to having blind hit. That was freaking awesome. Oh my gosh. I love getting runs. It feels so good. It feels so good.